Okay, so join me today, guys, on a really scary smart home adventure, because today we're going to be ripping apart a light switch on my wall and installing this super cheap, hopefully super cool if it works, smart wall light switch. So I'm pretty into this smart home tech game. A lot of my lights in the house are smart and I can control them with either of my Google Assistants, whether that's Amazon's version or Google's or my Siri on my phone. What I've done though is actually installed a lot of light bulbs from Philips Hue and LifeX, and they are actually my smart light bulbs. But what if you've got yourself a light that's actually not smart? Well, this is a smart switch that will take any light that's apparently not smart and make it smart. So you can turn it on and off with your smart assistants, with your Alexa, with your Google Assistants, with your Siri, or wherever you are in the world via an app. Bought it on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. It connects via 2.4 gigahertz, it says here on the back. It's model KS601, and I just hope that it really doesn't blow up my house. It's a 2-gang light switch, so we can control 2 lights with this one switch. Let's see if we can install this thing. Okay guys, so here we go. Let's just get out of this box because the box is fairly simple. It just says that this is simply a Wi-Fi smart switch. And there it is. The thing looks pretty nice. I think I'd be happy to have this in my kitchen. It's got a nice white design in it. Let's take this off. So as you can see, these are actually touch capacitive buttons. So that's pretty nice. This back box is quite big though. I assume this is where all the smart tech is going to be housed. So we'll set that off to one side. What else do we have? We have 2 screws and an instruction manual. Now, if you imagine a normal light switch, we'll overlay some B-roll of one now, you actually have 2 screws at the front of it. This looks like a sort of hidden design where you can't see the screws. So it looks nice, but because this is so thick, what I've actually gone ahead and done is I bought this spacer just in case this box doesn't fit into the wall. That'll make sense to you guys a little bit later. Let's go and see if we can take this light switch off over here and install it. So as you guys can see here, I'm looking at the instructions about how to wire this up. For a start here, on the instruction manual, we've got 3 lights. On here, we've only got 2. And then back over here at the instructions, there's another image here of the switch where there's only 1 light switch on it. So I assume they make different variants of this, but it says using a small screwdriver to separate the upper and lower parts of the switch. So I'm going to try, and genuinely feels like I'm going to break it, but I think, there we go. Okay. So as you guys can see, if I come a little bit closer in and show you this is the faceplate that's actually going to cover up our 2 screws, so it's going to look super, super flush. And then these are just touch capacitive buttons that hopefully will work, well obviously they will, through this front plate. So now essentially what we've got to do is try and wire this thing up to that switch. So first, before we take this switch off, what I'm going to do is put both of the lights on to make sure that I get the right circuit, and then go in here, turn off the master switch for the house, because I'd prefer not to electrocute myself. That sorted it. So annoying, because this is a new build, as you guys know. If you've been following me for quite a while, this house is like brand new. They for some reason like to silicone in all the light switches. So as you guys can see, even though I've taken the 2 screws out, this is not coming off very easily. Stanley knife. Careful, boys and girls. Okay, so there will be one time when I do try and joke with you guys and I touch one of these things and it doesn't. Right, so I have no idea. It says COM, L1, L2, L1, L2. I hope it says those exact things on the back of here. In, out, shake it all about. I've got no idea. I need to look at the instructions. So as you guys can see, putting this original light switch back on, you're probably thinking, Alex, why the heck are you doing that? Well, unfortunately, the connections on the back of this don't match up to this. Now, technically, this should work because this is an L2 switch and so is this. L2 means that it's got 2 different lighting circuits on the same switch. However, they just don't match up, and I don't want to break my internal lighting. I managed to get this to light up and get the Wi-Fi logo to light up on it, but it wasn't actually, when I clicked the button, changing the lights. The lights were just staying on, which totally defeats the object of a switch. So I need to go and seek some help from a professional electrician, and then we'll come back to you guys when I know how to install this thing. I prefer not to dabble with it and break anything, because I need my life. So, as you guys can now see, it's about 2 weeks after our last shoot about this light switch. And what's happened in that time? Well, what I actually did was I invited a qualified trained electrician around to my house to see if he could solve the issue of it not working. He then told me something very interesting. He said, Alex, your house was built, well, less than a year ago. And apparently, they stopped running the neutral wire, I think it's the neutral wire, that's what he said, down to the light switch. And to get something like this to work, this smart light switch, you need to have a neutral wire, which is only present in, well, older houses apparently. So I've come round to my parents' house. When was this house built? Like 1993 or something? So the electrician that I actually had round gave me a little schematic to go to if I ever came round to my parents' house to try this out. So following that schematic, I've wired it into my parents' house. Let's see if we go and turn this on at the main flick board, if it works or not, because I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up. He didn't say to, the electrician, so she's all in. Let's go and see if she works. Okay, so let's put our RCD switches back on, giving us power upstairs. Let's hope that it's working. Right, okay, I hope this thing is working. Yeah, I can see the projector's got power, so no, absolutely nothing. That is just a big shame, isn't it, really? Okay, so I think the Amazon reviews were right. I found this one here that's on the screen now. It says that most households, well, it's not going to work in most UK households because we don't have this neutral wire. The thing that I'm finding really odd about this, though, is it looks like I have the neutral wire present here, and I've wired it up in the correct way, and still absolutely nothing. There's no lights on here. The light doesn't turn on. Maybe this is just a defective model. I have no idea. Or maybe, for God's sake, I'm just not wiring it up right at the back, and the instructions that were, well, in the box with it, and the instructions that the qualified electrician gave me at my house just aren't cutting it. So if you guys have any recommendations, we could possibly do a follow-up video or something like that. But for now, this isn't really a product that I want to recommend to anybody for numerous reasons. And let me take it off to explain to you. So obviously the first one, it being that it's not really working very well. The second being that you need a huge back box for this to work. So as you can see, the back box in the wall, this is very, 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 very thick. So like I said to you guys, I bought a spacer for this because I knew it was gonna have a thick back box. It's got all the smart tech in it. So that's my experience with a smart light switch. Not good. We'll drop a link to it in the description regardless. But I think it's mostly American people that are getting away with this. And us English people, like the reviews say, are being left in the dark. So if you guys enjoyed this, then smash that like button, and there's some other videos there to check out. We've done loads of smart stuff on the channel. If you disliked it, that dislike button will do below. Please subscribe, we'd really appreciate it.